Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the Vanessa Jackson Show. I'm so excited about my show today. I have American R&B singer, songwriter, and producer Darrell Babs, that the world knows by Tank. Tank, are you there?
I am. You went to the Darrell Babs, right? Well, this is crazy.
What I said is the world knows Tank.
I thought you was about to write me a check.
Hey, you know what? We may just do that, Tank. How are you this morning?
I'm doing really good. How about yourself?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being on the Vanessa Jackson Show. It's definitely an honor to have you on. And as I also know, congratulations in order in regards to the new addition to your family.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he's 6 months now, so he's cooking and cleaning around the house now. So
he's cooking and cleaning.
Yeah, you got to earn your keep around here.
I know that's right. Hey, I feel the same way at my house. So, Tank, I just want to kind of go over some things with you. Like I said, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today. And I see that you're going to be on a new scripted television series that will be starting soon called Born Again Virgin on TV One. Are you able to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really cool. You know, I play a lawyer slash man candy. Or maybe it's man candy / lawyer. Not really sure which order it is. But, Jenna, who's the main character of the show, who's beautiful Danny Nicolay, she's decided she's going to take control of her life and starting with her sexuality, you know what I mean? And making better decisions in terms of that to try and, regain control of, just her altogether. And so, she makes this bold statement and this bold decision to say, you know what, I'm locking it down, and I'm going to keep it to myself. And as soon as she makes this decision, I move next door and I knock on the door and say, hey, you got a cup of sugar I can borrow? And I'm standing there, looking all tanktified.
Sexy as you can be.
There starts the journey, of her trying to abstain, me kind of understanding her abstaining, but us still having this major crush on each other. And it goes from there. I mean, you got Eva Marcel, who's in there, she's just hysterical in the show. And Russ Parr, he's doing most of the directing, so he's pretty awesome. The writers are absolutely amazing. And TV One is, doing really cool about just putting some cool, really great content, you know what I mean, on the station. And so we're kind of like the flagship show. So we're excited. It starts August 5th, and it's gonna be a pretty awesome journey. I'm really in love with it.
Well, great. Well, we're definitely excited by it. We will be tuning in again. He said it starts, when is it, August 5th? Mm-hmm. August 5th. Okay, on
August
TV
5th,
One.
it comes off, yep.
Okay.
On TV One. Yep.
All right, great. Well, we're definitely going to be tuning into that. Now, Tank, a while back I read in the media that you weren't going to put out another album because you were frustrated with the music industry. But I don't know if that is, can you answer if that's true or not? Because I see that you're getting ready to release a new album. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't say I wasn't going to release another album. I said I wouldn't release another real R&B album if that's not what they want to hear. And, it was definitely out of frustration of a few things. It's the same thing that, that Tyrese has been going on his world campaign about and promoting and trying to get people to pay attention and to understand what this kind of music is and how important it is. And, it's the same fight everywhere. You know what I mean? And fortunately for Tyrese, he's got some other things to really help him sell records. It's not just about him depending on just the music to help him sell records. Mm-hmm. So we're celebrating the number one, but we understand what it is. He's got two of the biggest franchises in the world, and he's a different kind of superstar. You know what I mean? Right. So him being able to go in and have these conversations with people, has a longer reach, and it's grabbing a lot more people, than when I have the conversation and my few little people comment and, say whatever they say. So, I'm glad that somebody else who has a louder voice is picking up the pieces where I left off and saying, hey, no, this is actually right and this is actually not right. You know what I mean? Right. So we're celebrating his number ones, you know what I'm saying, right now,
Yes.
in honor of that conversation, in honor of those conversations. Like R&B, we need to be able to have our records heard on some of the same stations that all this other music is heard on. We need to be able to, be in some of the venues. I mean, the thing is that if people hear it, they love it. It's when they don't hear it. It's my whole thing has been about, I don't want anybody to not know. If somebody makes a decision and says, no, I'm not with it, then I can accept that. But for a person to say, no, I didn't even know about it, that's unacceptable to me.
Right,
So
and I agree.
That's all we're asking is for. We just to be heard. If the majority says R&B ain't it, then I guess we'll have to figure out a way. You know what I mean? But right now, people are saying we love R&B music.
Right, and I'm definitely an R&B fan. So when you said that you're not going to put out another a real R&B album, so can you kind of explain that? Like, so what's going to be different about the album that you're going to be putting out versus the stuff that we've seen from you in the past?
Well, here's what's tough is that I spoke on it, in that paragraph I wrote, and it's crazy how I can do a fully live instrumental record, you know what I mean, with all the great instruments, all the great singing. And when I put this record out, I'm limited to the stations that will play it, because if you send it to an urban station, they'll say, oh, it's not enough energy for urban. If you send it to Urban Crossover, they say absolutely no way. You try to send it to Top 40, they say we're not even thinking about it until you get some traction on those other charts. So we're stuck in a space where, the ceiling is only but so high. But that's just for me. Now, when Sam Smith does a record with all live instrumentation, and he goes a step further and puts a choir on it, he goes all the way there. I mean, he goes full Ray Charles.
Yes, he does.
And his record starts at Top 40. It starts at the biggest station, the biggest radio stations in the world. It starts there, and then it slowly moves over to the other charts. And even in my community, you know what I mean, on the urban ACs and the urbans, we play that record heavy as well. So it's like, wow, that's crazy, because it's the same kind of record. It's you know what I mean. Tyrese stayed was number one for 11 weeks, and it never got any action, outside of its own community.
Right.
And so it's like with building new R&B records. Like for me, I'm a writer and a producer. So, I make records for myself, Tyrese, Genuine, whoever else, just as well as I make records for Chris Brown, 7th Street, or who else. You know what I mean? So for me to find balance is a lot easier than somebody else who's kind of limited to people making music for them. So when I see the music that's working and trying to understand and how to fill my lane out, it's easy for me to say, okay, you know what? If that's not what the majority are leaning to, then let me figure out how to still be Tank and be heard by the majority. You know what I mean? My goal now is not, it was a rant then and there was frustration then, but my goal now is just, hey, let's just make bigger and better music. It is what it is. If that didn't work, then we have to be smart enough to understand what is working and understand how we can contribute to that. So if they don't want to hear live strings or organ and some trumpet, live horns and all that, and if that's not the thing that's going to move the needle, then what's the thing that's going to move the needle?
Right.
And conceptually, sonically, I have to go in and make the music that's going to, hey, make an urban station say, oh, we need to play that new Tank, or make an urban mainstream station say, oh, we need to play that new Tank. And then once we've fully saturated that, then maybe the top 40 guys will say, oh, have you heard that song is number one all over the place? Maybe we should give that a chance. So, my frustrations are over. I'm very clear on what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? We all understand what it is. And so now it's about making bigger and better music, and music that can fit in these spaces in order for it to make sense.
Right. And I think I agree with you saying, I think it take away from the real R&B music, because the music that you've made, it's like, it is a need for it. People want to go back old school with the real R&B, but when you listen to some of the music now that they consider R&B, people that's 40 and over or maybe even 35 and over, we're not really feeling some of this stuff that's really going on right now. You know what I'm saying? We want the real R&B baby making music.
Yeah.
I just don't understand where the world is coming to when they are not. Because to me, you are a very lyrical. I think that you don't get the recognition that you actually deserve because you're very, very talented. I'm a big fan, and I don't think that you get the recognition that you really deserve in this game.
Well, here's the thing: is that I spoke to it a while ago, and even with my last record, it was a situation where maybe I know a lot of musicians, singers, and songwriters that bought my last album. They went absolutely crazy. Like they would hit me up and say, "Thank you for making that album," because we didn't feel like we could be free enough to be talented, to actually use our gifts to make music. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I say, you know what? Sometimes, what I've been for most people is inspiration. Even for the new R&B cats, even for new rappers and all these guys, like they're like, man, we grew up listening to your stuff. Like when your stuff came out, when Sex, Love, and Pain came out, and all these things, you were on the cutting edge of R&B. You know what I mean? You were what was considered, the mainstream R&B and this new hot thing that was out. You know what I mean? And so it's funny looking at that and seeing that, but it's like everything. Everything evolves. Everything changes. And there are those who are responsible for maintaining its traditional value, and there are those who are just part of the new thing that's happening.
Right.
So, everybody has to figure out what space they want to fit in. And, up until now, I've kind of, crossed back and forth between maintaining its historical value and dabbling in what's new and hot in R&B. You know what I mean? So I kind of do it all. So, you just figure out what's going to work for this project. And now with me doing Sex, Love, and Pain too, in the spirit of the first Sex, Love, and Pain, I have to be next. I got to be fresh. I got to be on the cutting edge of what R&B is,
right?
And be that tank that kind of pushes the line, even for the guys that are out now, where they're like, man, we got to catch up to Tank. That type of thing.
Right. Well, I have Brian here in the studio, and he has a question for you, Tank.
Hey, Tank, I wanted to ask you kind of a two-part question and see what you thought about this. Is pop music the new R&B, and are we seeing a repeat of history of what happened with rock and roll? Rock and roll was something we created, but I feel like the same kind of process that you just spoke about a few minutes ago took place, and it became more, and I hate to make it a racial thing, but it became more of a white audience or white even entertainer music. Is that what we're seeing happening with R&B right now as far as the industry is concerned?
Well, I mean, I guess you can't say pop is the new R&B. It just, depends on who's doing it, but, it's just R&B music being heard by whoever they would rather hear it from.
Right, and that was my point. You said something about Sam earlier. It's R&B. So are they trying to
R&B.
make
clearly R&B?
Beautiful. Okay, so you answered that question. That's true.
Yeah, and it's tough because it's like we don't want to make it a racial thing. We don't want to make it about a sex thing. We don't want to make it about anything other than the music, but it's hard to do that when we have these examples clearly happening. Like it's right in our face. It's not like it's hidden or like anybody's. You know what I mean? It's right there.
Right.
And so it's like, how do we fight it without addressing the underlying issue? You know what I mean? If we want to play Tyrese's Stay and Sam Smith's Stay side by side, what are we saying is so different about those records that Tyrese's records shouldn't get a shot?
Right, absolutely.
At those big stations. Like, what exactly are we saying? And that's the question that nobody wants to answer.
The reason I put those side by side and ask you that question is because as you talked about Tyrese's Stay and then Sam's Stay, I've reflected back to the stories of a black artist making a record in the 60s and to get them to be purchased by young white kids, they took their faces off and put a picture of the ocean. We all saw that in
Absolutely.
Five
Right,
Heartbeats.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I see this same trend happening again with R&B. I heard Usher like about a year ago say R&B is not dead, and it struck me. Why would he say that? And then I started to see what was coming out. I started to see what was happening, and I said, wow, this is like history repeating itself all over again. You know?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
They're not even. It's crazy because it's like, okay, well, we're not even going to let them sing it. At least back in the day, I think, we at least had our voices on it.
Right.
But now our voices or our faces ain't.
Right. Right. It's neither one. So it's like we lose all the way around.
Yeah, we lose all the way around. So, we actually had it a little better back then. But,
Right.
I just think, that if you put 100 white people and 100 black people in a room, and just close the curtain and just let singers sing, and let them pick the music, let them just sit and enjoy the music, they would have no idea who's who and what's what.
Absolutely.
They would just enjoy the music, and we could go from there. You know what I mean? I just wish that was the case, but
right. Well, Tank, what I do, I commend you on it because with the frustration, because I come from the music industry, working with a lot of artists in the past, and with that, I really like you have a really good sense of humor about it. At the same time, I know that it's a frustrating moment, but you seem to make humor out of it, which I think is really, really good. So I commend you for that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's I think, Tyrese is a little bit more, he's a little bit more, what's the word? He's being a little bit more militant about it, you know what I mean, right now.
Right.
But, I mean, he got other stuff he can do, you know what I mean?
Right, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So he could jump out there and be, and jump at Ryan Seacrest and all these other people, you know what I mean? And really, fight that fight, because he got other cool stuff happening, man. But, I'm a music guy, you know what I mean? Now that I'm acting now, it's really great. But, I'm not on that level where, acting is my bread and butter. You know what I mean? Music is my bread and butter.
Right.
So, when it comes to taking stands and fighting the good fight, I have to do it in steps. I have to do it within a process to where, people hear me and understand where I'm coming from, but they're not put off by me. They're not afraid to do things with me. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, here comes Tank, the angry guy. You know what I mean? It's not that type of thing for me, because I then too still, within all of the changes that I would like to be made, I understand that things are the way they are. So if I'm going to do music and make a music living, what am I going to do?
Right.
I'm going to feed my 5 kids with music. What am I going to do?
Absolutely. Well, you know what? We're going to support you however we can here. And we have a caller calling in, I think, that may have a question for you, Tink. Caller, Are you there?
Yes, I am.
And can I get your name and where you're calling from, please?
It's Stickman.
Stickman. Hey, well, thanks for calling to the Vanessa Jackson Show. Is your question for Tank?
Yes, I just want to say, man, I'm so proud of you. I love that song, You Are My Star. And one of the reasons that it's so hard to hear the music and make sure the blacks are on that music is there's so much money being made now. There's big money. And, when big money comes out, we're the last one to get it. And I just want to say to you, you're doing a great job. I love your music. And keep on doing what you're doing, because you are God-sent, man. I was a retired DJ, and I'm so proud of you. So keep up the good work. And KCEP, you are the number 1 station in the nation.
All right. Thank you, Stickman, for calling in.
Appreciate it.
God bless you.
Well, see, Tank, you got a lot of supporters behind you.
Listen, I'll take that. I'll take it. I will take it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So let me ask you, are we going to hear any new music from TGT, you, Genuine, and Tyrese? Is there anything new coming out for the group?
It'll be next year.
Next year?
Next year the group will be up and running, and we're excited. You know what I mean? I mean, with what Tyrese is doing right now, what I'm getting ready to do, I'm dropping close in the fall, and G's still moving around and electrifying the country with his catalog. it's just going to set up for TGT to just be even bigger and better than it was when we dropped the first time. We had no idea what we were doing, what we were getting ourselves into.
Right.
And when that album dropped, like we were shocked and surprised by the response, not just from the people, but even from our peers. They were like, "Man, everybody needed this." You know what I mean? And so, when we do it this time around, I think we've learned a lot too from the first TGT. There were some things that we could have done better and differently that we kind of understand now, and we're gonna fix those things and plug in the holes. And I think this time around it's gonna be on a whole nother level.
Well, we're looking forward to it. I got a chance to see you guys personally live when I worked with the Soul Train Awards, and you guys were out. You guys did an amazing job. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing TGT, and we're looking forward to your new album. By the way, could you tell us a little bit about the new album that you're dropping?
Yeah, man. New album, Sex, Love, and Pain 2, is SLP2, as we call the hashtag, is it's pushing the line, man. You know what I mean? It's sexual. It's of course love, and it's got that pain in it as well. You know what I mean? We can't have none of that without the pain. Like
Absolutely.
All of that. And so I really just pushed the line. I got records. I got a record with Wale that's probably going to lead off, which is just nostalgic as all ever. I mean, we take a Patti LaBelle sample and just run with it. I'm not going to tell you which one. And then I got a record with Chris Brown that's absolutely crazy. And then I with my rapper Saya and with my guy Problem out here from the West. And then, I go down south. I get down south with it, too. I got a record with my guy, Rich Homie Quan. It's absolutely retarded. He's actually, it feels more like a duet because he's singing, too. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Right.
And then I got Yo Gotti on there, man. I got Tyrese and Genuine on there. I even went and got Sean Stockman on a record with me. So, from Boys to Men. So, it has a lot of colors to it. It's very multi-formatted. Like we didn't just do one R&B thing. Like my last album, Stronger, was just one thing. It was very one-dimensional, and I did that on purpose because that's what I wanted to hear and feel at the time. And so this album, I covered a lot of ground. Just like I did with my first Sex, Love, and Pain album. So
okay,
it's different. It's crazy.
Well,
really
we're
crazy.
definitely looking forward to it. You guys go out there and get that new album with Tank. Let's support him much as we can. We need to
get that Tyrese right now, though.
Oh, yeah, we'll
Make
get
sure
the Tyrese now, too. We're going to promote Tyrese Day, too. So go out and cop that. And then we're going to get Tank's new album, too. And Tank, congratulations on everything. We do support you, and I thank you again for being on the Vanessa Jackson Show. That's our time, y'all. Remember to live, love, laugh, and pray. And again, this episode is sponsored by A&K Body and Paint, where you get all your body services needs. Again, that's our time. This is Vanessa Jackson Show. Thank you for listening.